I had a question come in about real estate, and they said, hey, what do you really think is up in real estate right now? I'm going to separate this into, for this week, last topic I'm going to cover here, then I'm going to get to one of your questions, is commercial real estate on one side, residential real estate on the other. Residential real estate, interest rates are high, so that if your mom and dad are going to move to Florida and get a little house down there, they're probably not going to sell the house in Bedford, up in the Northeast. Why? They could Airbnb it, or they could lease it out, and they've got a 3% mortgage, and the mortgage isn't that big. So why not keep it? Because prices are coming down a little bit, but they're not crashing. Well, the reason the supply is low is because your mom and dad and millions of people like them don't want to sell their house. So there's no supply. If there's no supply, the prices stay high. The other side of it is the demand. There's not a lot of people wanting to buy a house at a 7% mortgage right now. Can we Google that? Today's mortgage rates. And there should be a Google page that comes up where they summarize everything very, very nicely. So you've got buyers don't want to buy at the high, and they don't want the price associated with the 7% mortgage. Or put another way, they can't get approved for the house they want for that. Yeah, take a look at this. Let's change the loan amount to $500,000. Boom. And let's go to California. $7.5%. So we're up close to 8. Now go back to Florida, and then let's drop the credit score down to under 700, just under 700. Ladies and gentlemen, whoa. 8% mortgage. By the way, that's not a terrible credit score. 680 to 699 is what you would call solid. It's not exceptional. 700s is what you need, and if you manage to get to 800, that's amazing. But with $1 trillion in credit card debt right now, people can't afford to buy a house. So people can't afford to buy a house. People don't want to sell their house. They'd rather Airbnb it or lease it. Means the supply is down and demand is down. So on the residential market, I believe, the Fed is saying it's probably going to be 2 years to the end of 25 till we have federal interest rates back down to 3, and they're probably looking to raise in July because there's been some statistics out that say that the economy is still a little too hot and there's still a little too much inflation and things are tough. So there you have it, folks. That's why I believe for the next 2 years, certain parts of the housing market may shift, but most markets, I think, are just going to be, there's a new status quo on the number of houses that are selling, and prices are not going to drop through the floorboards. What this does open the door to is home builders to build more homes, because cities are going to be more willing to give zoning permits for a builder to build another 30 homes on a new piece of land. And they're going to be farther from downtown, so it's farther commute, but that increases the supply of housing that helps it. Home builders now are building at a time when what they're going to be selling is higher priced, and the interest rates are up. So the home builder usually discounts the interest rate a little bit to help people to get in. If the interest rates are 8 and they could give you an interest rate of 6, that's going to be maybe helpful to a first-time home buyer that gets some assistance from the home builders. So you are going to get a little relief in the market as the home brothers like Lanier and Toll Brothers are out there. That's why, with the home market being kind of futzed up, take a look at this. Let's look at the Lanier stock price, see if we can find that. Lanier stock price, and that's a home builder. Let's go take a look at their stock price over the last 6 months. And what you're about to see here, as Kellyanne goes to get that, and I didn't give her notice ahead of time, so give her a second, is you're going to see what's going on. That actually, even though and let's go to 6 months there, 6M, and take a look. Wow, Lanier has gone up since the beginning of the year. What's going on? People think that the stock's going to do okay because with 7%, 8% interest rates and high home prices, there's room in there for home builders to build more homes and make a profit. And the cities are going to be more willing, hey, could I have a building permit to go to the edge of city and counties and build a small neighborhood of 20 homes? And the cities are saying, yes, we need more affordable housing. And if you're going to be a little bit far from downtown, you're going to be building it out there at a more moderated price. So as long as the materials, the inflation on materials, lumber, copper, concrete, drywall, core building materials, as long as those are not out of whack, the home builders are going to be able to make money and add to the supply. But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while to build it. But right now is the time to do it so they could actually get, a small amount of homes in new areas built before the fall, winter. And if you're building in Texas and in Florida, you can build all year. So that's what I see going on in the home market. And so thank you for asking. I think if you are a buyer, stay put. If you have a home and you want to step up, now's not the time to do it. If you have to move from one area to another and you're in debt and you've got things, you got to sell it. But if your job is moving, you say, from Atlanta to Florida, maybe figure out if you can lease in Florida and Airbnb or lease that house back in Atlanta, because rents are also coming down a bit, but they're still at a historically elevated rate. So you could probably make insurance payment and property tax and poolman and gardener. That's what you got to make. To rent a house, you got to cover your payment, your property tax, your home insurance, your poolman, and your gardener. So the basics, you see what I mean? It's not just the payment. And if you have a 2% mortgage at a reasonable rate, and now that adds up to $3,000, and you can rent it for $3,500 or $4,000, that's positive cash flow each month, and you don't have to go through selling the house, at least not today.